Hello, welcome to today's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I'm going to have another look at a puzzle from the US Puzzle Championship last weekend. Now this puzzle is called Smashed Sums by Michael Tang. 15-point puzzle, so that means it's pretty difficult, not quite as difficult as the odd angle Sudoku we did yesterday, but this would be certainly more than a 5-minute puzzle for even the world's best solvers. We're not going to go or even attempt to go at that sort of speed. I'm going to try and do it logically. And the reason I chose it is that I think it bears some similarities to a very popular form of variant Sudoku, which is the sandwich Sudoku. And you'll see why when we look at the rules. So basically what we need to do is to fill each row and column of the grid with the digits 1 through 6 and blacken 2 of the remaining cells in each row and column, such that the numbers outside the grid are equal to the sum of the digits between the 2 black cells in the corresponding row or column. So this has a lot of similarities with sandwich Sudoku, and of course in that form of Sudoku you have a number outside the grid that's equal to the sum of the digits sandwiched between the 1 and the 9 in the row or column in question. So let's now take a look and see if you find it. This is the puzzle. If you want to try it yourselves, just click on the link under the video. That'll take you to our software where you'll see exactly what I see. And how should we go about doing this? First thing I'd note, I guess, is looking at the numbers 1 to 6. If we add them up, we get to number 21. So high valued columns and rows like this 20 and this 19 are immediately interesting, because if we have to put the numbers 20, number 20 or cells summing to 20 between the black squares in this column, that means there can only be a single digit, and it's the number 1 outside of the black squares. So where can the black squares go? Well, one of these 2 squares must be black, and similarly one of these 2 squares must be black. And okay, yeah, and we can combine that, look, with the 19 row here, because in this row we have exactly the same effect. We know in order to include numbers totaling 19 between the black cells, we're going to have to just leave out a 2. So again, one of these 2 cells must be black and one of these 2 cells must be black. Now that means this square, which we hypothesized just looking at the 20 total, we said this could be a black square. Well, it can't be a black square. If we make this square black, let's just think about it. How could we make a 19? We could put a black square there. We'd have 4 cells to make 19. Well, even if we add up 6, 5, 4 and 3, we don't get high enough. So that's not going to work. This square here is not black, therefore this square is black. And we're off and running. This square must be black. This square at the bottom must be 1. And what I think this is suggesting we need to do, just as we would do in a sandwich Sudoku, is I think we need to highlight the cells that are not black, because that is going to be helpful. If we look at the 4 total along row 1, I suppose 4 could be a 1 and a 3, couldn't it? So it's possible this square is black, but it's not possible either of these 2 squares are black. So let's make them green. What else? I guess in the 19 row we could make all those green. In this 7, given that the highest number we can use is a 6, 7 must be 2 digits or 3 digits. So these 2 squares are definitely green. This is green. This square could be black. Right. Okay. So having worked this out, what would we do? Well, this square, this is in a 0 total. Look. So if this was black, that... Oh, hang on. I'm going to have to pause it. Right, sorry about that. I've never worked with children or animals. I'm not sure how much the webcam will have picked up. But anyway, let's move on. Now, I was looking at this square. Now, this square is in a 0, has a 0 total for the column. So if I put a black square here, that would imply this is a black square. Well, from the work we've done on the 19 row, that's not possible. So this is clearly not What's in now? This square. Now this square isn't in either. This can't be black, because if this is black, this 2 total would mean we have to put a 2 here. Now we know there's not a 2 here because of the 19 total in this row. Because we know, because 1 to 6 add to 21, it'll be a 2 either here or here in this row. Therefore not here. So this cannot be black, which is rather lovely. It means this is a black square. This square here must be a 4. And the 7 total must be 2 cells. So these 2 cells must be green. And then one of these 2 cells is black. So these 3 cells at the bottom are also green. And 19, that must be black. This must be black. These cells are all green. 9 could be 2 cells or it could be 3 cells, but it can't be 4 cells. So this square at the bottom is green. And we've got 2 missing column totals. That should make us suspicious. And we know this square is 2. So that's all interesting and useful, but does it... now this square, look at this, we've got a 9 total in the row. Now, 9 could be 2 digits, but if I try and put a black square here, I could put a black square here as well, but the 9 total would then have to include a 1 on this side. Now that's not possible in 2 digits. And similarly on this side I can't put a black square here, so this square is green. Oh, not a 4. No. Green. Okay. Let me just stare at this for a moment. Right, well I think because if we look at this 2 column, we know it's either going to be a black square here and here, or here and here. Now I think what that means is that we can never have a black square in quite a few of these squares down this column, because if we look at the row totals, none of them are 0, and therefore whenever if I was to try and put a black square here, for example, the implication of that would be a black square here from this, but now I can't put a black square in either of these 2 squares where the cursor's moving because of the row totals, and that means this column is broken. So I think we can also make this square green. I think for the same reason this must be green again, because I cannot use up both of these squares and still make this 2 possible. So this square is green. This one must be green as well for exactly the same reason. And now this one could actually be black, because I could shift the 2's upwards like that. But because I've now got 3 orthogonally connected cells here, and I know 2 of them must be black, and those must be adjacent, this square is black, which is a nice find. The 7 total in 2 cells now. It's probably not that helpful. So now maybe we need to think about this square obviously is green. And we've also got something going on with the 1s, haven't we, which we need to keep in mind. Now, let me think about this. We know one of these 2 squares is black, because otherwise we can't make this 9 total work. So either this square is black or this square is black. Now if this square is black, then this square will be black. And that's totally broken, isn't it? Because for the 0 reason again. So if I try and put a black square here, I can't have one here. Therefore, I'd have to have one here, but that breaks because of the 1 total. So this square is not black, and therefore this square is. And now that means this square must be black, and suddenly we're off and running again. And this is why the constructor, Michael Tang, has not given a column total here, because if he gives the column total, it's very, very helpful in terms of working out where the green and black squares would go. So I suspect that's why that's missing. Now, what can we do further? We've now got an 11 total, but 11 could be 2 digits. Hang on. There's only 2 possible arrangements now of the black squares. Why do I say that? Well, we know the 2 total here is going to have 1 digit between them, which will be a 2. But we know the 1 total in this column has the same property. There will be a gap of 1 square into which we will insert a 1. But we also know, look at these row totals, they are all higher than 6. And therefore, wherever I put a black square, if I was to say put a black square here, the implication is that there cannot be a black square here. So they're going to be offset. And I suspect that we can therefore quickly deduce which of these is possible. Let's give it a go and see. So let's imagine this is a black square. If this is a black square, the black squares have to look like this. And that means this would be a black square. Because of the 9 total, obviously, in the row, we couldn't have a black square adjacent to another black square. Now, does this work? Now, this would have to be a black square, I think, because the 9 can't have 4 digits in it, so this would be a black square. And 2, what are we missing now? I still need to put a black square in here. Ugh, that's not going to work. That's totally broken. So you can see that that would imply a black square here in order to complete this row, this column. But the 11 total now needs 5 digits, which is absolutely impossible. So actually, we're quickly able to deduce that this is not a black square. Now, once we deduce that, that gives us the black square arrangements as being like this. This is a black square now, and hopefully what we'll find is that this looks a lot more sensible. So let's think about how this is going to work. The 8 total can't be 4 digits, therefore must be 3, so this must be a black square. Now we still need another black square in this column, and you can see, I think, that the only position it can go into is this one. So this 9 total here is 2 digits. The 11 total now must be 3 digits, because we can't have 2 or 3 black squares in column 2. Right, so there we go. This is the arrangement of black squares that we're working with. And now we've got to try and work out how to fill the grid with numbers. So where would you look first? Well, I guess the first thing we should do is fill in the givens. We know there's a 1 here, we know there's a 2 here. And this 8 total now means there's a 6 here. 6, 2. 2 here. So this 9 total could be 3, 6, could be 4, 5 in theory. The 11 total, this 7 total is a 5 there, sorry, that's better. So this is 3, 6, which means this is 6, 3 in that order because of the 6 in this position. 6, 6, 2. Ooh, look at that. The 9 total in row, whatever it is, row 8, we know these 2 squares add to 8, but now they can't be 2 and 6 because of what's up here. So they must be 3 and 5. Let's put that in, see if it helps. And the 11 total, let me just, okay. Yes, we've got an 11 total in 3 cells, which doesn't include a 1. Now, If it didn't include a 2, we'd have to make the total, say, 3, 4 and 5. That's the lowest we could do. Well, 3, 4 and 5 add to 12. Therefore, there definitely is a 2 in one of these positions in the 11 cage. And the other 2 digits, therefore, have to add to 9. So they're either going to be 3 and 6, or they're going to be 4 and 5. But I think this 3, 6 here looks interesting in that context, doesn't it? Because we need to put a 3 and a 6 into this row, and I could put one of them here, but that would mean one of them would have to be over here. So once one of them is over in this total, the other one is as well. So this is in fact 2, 3 and 6 into these 3 squares. This must be 4, 5. This must be 4, 5. Now this 9 total at the top becomes interesting. If this is a 5, it would have to be 1 and 3 in this order. If this is a 4, it would have to be 2, 3, 4. This would be a 2. So either way round, this square is a 3. Now, can we do anything more with this? We've now got 1, 4, 5 along the row. So this is a 1 or a 4. This is a 1 or a 5. And this is a 2. Oh, no, not. This is a 4 or a 5. Bother. I hope that might be more useful. So, what is the next step? What are we missing? Let's check the rest of this row, because we've got to put a 4 into this row, and this cannot be a 4 because of this square. So that one is a 4. This is a 1 or a 2. This 4 here, look, resolves this to be a 5. 1, 4, 2, 1, 5, therefore, I think. 4 here. We're making a bit of progress here. It's certainly not collapsing, but at least we've got some more numbers in the grid. Yes, sorry if this is taking a long time, but it's not that easy. So I'm just scanning to see what we've not used, and we've actually used a heck of a lot of the stuff here. 2, 3, this is a 3 or a 6 in this square. This is 2, 3, 6 here. We haven't yet done anything with the 7 total. We've got a 9 total here. Well, this must be 5, 4. There you go. That's going to help. 5 and 4 into those 2 positions. That means 2 and 1 at the top. Can we do anything more with that? Well, this square here must be, we've got a 1, 3, 5 in the column and a 4, sorry, in the row, and a 4 in the column. So this square is a 2 or a 6. And this square is a 2, 4 or 6. And this square is this only a 6? Yes, this square is a 6. That's very helpful, because that means this is a 2, this is a 4. Now, yes, now look at this 7 total. Now, where can we put a 4 in this row? You can see that we've got loads of 4s, except in either of these two. One of these 2 positions must be a 4, and therefore the other position must be a 3. So this is a 3, 4 pair. Now this square here is a 1 or a 3 because of the column, so this is a 1. And this is a 3. Therefore this is not a 3. 2, 5, 6 along here, so this square is a 5 or a 6. This square is a 5 or a 6, and this is a 2. Oh, we'll get a 6 at the top. My goodness, this is intricate. Be very interested to hear from you guys whether you sort of sailed through this. I'm certainly finding it pretty challenging. 5, 6 here. This square here, therefore, is a 3. You can see it's quite rare, actually. I fully pencil mark, which is almost what I'm having to do here. 3 here. 1, 2, 3. So we need 4, 5, and 6 along the row. So 4, 5, 6 here. 4, 5, 5, 6. And 1, 3, 5 along here. So 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 3, 5. And you can see there's a 5, 6 pair, believe it or not, in column 7 there. So this square is a 3. Two, 6 here. Surely I don't need to pencil mark. Maybe I do need to pencil mark this square. It's not going to give me anything, is it? 1, 2, 6. Maybe I've missed a total here that I need to use. Oh, or 6, 4, 3, 1, 5. What am I missing? Hang on. Where can a 1 go in this column? Only here, I think. Is that right? Yeah, that looks right. So this is a 1. So that's a 5, and that's going to break the puzzle open and finish it off, I think. So, wow, that was very hard. And the square here must be a 4, 5, 6. This can't be so this is a 6 now. 2, 1. Hope I haven't made a mistake. That would be embarrassing. 2, 6, 5, 6 here, 5 here, 4 here, and that looks like it's working. Wow, not easy to earn your 15 points there. Do let us know how you got on. I hope that you got through the puzzle, and if not, I hope that my walkthrough was useful to you. Please consider subscribing if you're not subscribers. We really appreciate it. We do have a Patreon channel as well, where there's some extra content. So if any of you are in a position to sponsor us, that would be massively appreciated. $2 a month, and that gets you our monthly puzzle. Thanks for watching. We'll be back soon with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.